Hi everybody, welcome back. It's good to see you guys. And Tyler, we've got a special guest.
Yes, we have a special guest, and I'm really proud to introduce to you Mr. Michael Price. And he's been in education for 41 years, an administrator for most of it. And we have him here. The special thing about this man is that he's a real advocate for science fairs, and he's been involved in science fairs for at least a couple of decades.
Indeed, I have.
So, what we want to ask you, Michael, is what makes the science fair so great and exciting?
Oh, well, thanks. First, thanks, boys, for having me on your show. I've seen previous episodes, and it's very enlightening and to see these shows. So, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
You always worry when somebody paints you as an expert. That's always a danger. But anyway, I certainly have been involved with science fairs for over 2 decades, and there are so many levels of benefit that comes from science fairs. Individual benefits for students, obviously, in terms of developing problem-solving skills. And I think that if I had to nail it down to one particular aspect from our education approach to education, it would be the problem solving. What I always say to kids is good science is made up of asking questions and then finding a solution or an answer to that question. And isn't that what life's about too?
Yeah. I think the coolest thing from what I've noticed in my short career is that it's their questions that they're trying to find the answer to, not ours. And I think that's a really awesome,
absolutely
motivating thing.
And the whole process of going through this and finding scientific ways to answer these questions.
Right.
That's what it's about, right?
When we talk about authentic learning and getting a presentation ready for a real audience, we try to replicate that in classrooms, and the great teachers do a great job of that. But when you have a science fair, then it really is a real audience, because you're going to have the student is going to have to present these ideas to somebody that has some experience with science, and so they have to get prepared for any of these questions. And hopefully, when they are doing their science experiment, I hope in the beginning that it doesn't go well.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you want them to struggle a little bit.
Right.
So then they've got to figure out, that wasn't so easy. That didn't work out the way we thought it should. So, again, science is built on those good questions. So, what we thought was going to work didn't work. What's the next question? Well, how do we improve it?
Yeah.
How do we figure out how to make that work? How do we make the test fair?
Yeah.
So I've got a question.
Yeah.
Say we've got a small school, somewhere far away, and I want to set up a science fair.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do it?
It's like eating an elephant. Yeah? You can do it, but you've got to take one bite at a time.
That's
right? Yeah, you got to take one bite at a time. So the first thing is that you're going to have to get the staff involved, okay? And they're going to have to believe that the amount of time that the students are going to be spending on the science fair is actually warranted. And there are some educators that don't feel that way. I've met them over the years, and they take some convincing that you can actually list the outcomes that have to be covered, and they go across more than one subject. And so you sometimes have to do a little bit of background work with the staff to get them involved. And then, like so many projects that end up being big projects, you must start small.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? And so if the expectation is, this school has been doing science fair projects 5 years. And so the projects that you see exhibited are the result of an accumulation of information. The students in 1 year, they get to see what the projects look like from
that's right.
Then the next year, they try to outdo it. They try to improve it. So the first year, you can bet that you're going to have very simple projects. And that's okay, because that's your starting spot. So you can't compare Canada-wide science fair standards to a school that's going to
Yeah, that's
begin
right.
that process. Okay, and so it's to start small, and you have to allow time for it. So you have to be prepared that there's going to be some interruptions in that daily schedule, and so teachers need to be reassured that the benefit from doing the science fair, that those outcomes are going to get covered, but they're just going to be covered in a little bit different way. The students are going to be in charge of their learning. And if there's one thing that the Nova Scotia Department of Education talks about, it's talking about gradual release of responsibility. And that'd be a good topic for you guys for another day.
Yeah.
To talk about that gradual release of responsibility. What does it look like? Science fairs is one of those ways that you can transfer that responsibility to students.
Yes, and the students, from what we observed, they take it on. And something doing as exciting as this, they really take it on. And you can feel the positive energy and buzz around the school at this time.
It's unbelievable. Yes, some people might experience it as a bit messy because they cut and glue and build and it's amazing to see. But the energy, it's unreal. It's unreal. I think that's the positive side of it. And the practical side of it to me also, it is learning in action.
Right.
It's learning in action, hands-on.
Right.
And that's the positive thing for me.
And in a small school, you rely on everybody on staff to take part in the judging. And so it's a good team building activity in terms of your staff. Everybody buys into it. They're excited about seeing the projects. So, as I said in the beginning, there are so many levels that a science fair is a positive experience for a school, not just for the student that's doing that project, but also for the staff members and how they pull together
yeah, you could even say the community, the parents came in to see ours, and everyone was having a great time. The people from outside the school area were coming to see. It was just it was a great event.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's all about just trying it, doing it. It's just getting your foot in the water, starting small, and seeing the results for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Guys, what do you say? Please comment below and add a few words, if you will, and see you next time.
Thanks a lot, folks. And thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for having me on the show, boys.